dear students, welcome to Neet Shala. This is the audiobook series of NCERT Lines Reading by Suyeshi Vineet. Let's start Chapter 6, Anatomy of Flowering Plants. You can very easily see that the structural similarities and variations in the external morphology of the larger living organisms, both plants and animals. Similarly, if we were to study the internal structure, one also finds several similarities as well as differences. This chapter introduces you to the internal structure and functional organization of higher plants. Study of internal structure of plants is called anatomy. I repeat, study of internal structures of plants is called anatomy. Plants have cells as the basic unit. Cells are organized into tissues, and in turn the tissues are organized into organs. Different organs in a plant show differences in their internal structure. Within angiosperm, the monocots and dicots are also seen to be anatomically different. I repeat, within angiosperms, the monocots and dicots are also seen to be anatomically different. Internal structures also show adaptations to diverse environments. 6.1 The tissues. A tissue is a group of cells having a common origin and usually performing a common function. A plant is made up of different kinds of tissues. Tissues are classified into two main groups, namely meristematic and permanent tissue, based on whether the cells being formed are capable of dividing or not. 6.1.1 Meristematic tissue. Growth in plants is largely restricted to specialized regions of active cell division called meristem. I repeat, growth in plants is largely restricted to specialized regions of active cell division called meristems. Greek meristos, divided. Plants have different kinds of meristem. The meristem which occur at the tips of root and shoots and produce primary tissues are called apical meristem. This is the diagram of apical meristem. Root apical meristem occupies the tip of the root, while the shoot apical meristem occupies the distantmost region of the stem axis. During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from the shoot apical meristem constitute the axillary bud. Such buds are present in the axils of leaves and are capable of forming a branch or a flower. The meristem which occurs between mature tissue is known as intercalary meristem. They occur in grasses and regenerate parts removed by grazing herbivores. Both apical meristem and intercalary meristem are together called as primary meristem because they appear early in life of a plant and contribute to the formation of the primary plant body. Meristem that occurs in mature regions of root and shoots of many plants, particularly those that produce woody axis and appear later than primary meristem, are called the secondary or lateral meristem. They are cylindrical meristem, fascicular vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium and core cambium are the examples of lateral meristem. These are responsible for producing the secondary tissues. Following divisions of cell in both primary as well as secondary meristem, the newly formed cells become structurally and functionally specialized and lose the ability to divide. Such cells are termed as permanent or mature cells and constitute the permanent tissues. During the formation of primary plant body, specific regions of apical meristem produce dermal tissue, ground tissue, and vascular tissue. 6.1.2 Permanent tissue. The cells of permanent tissue do not generally divide further. Permanent tissue have all cells similar in structure and function and are called simple tissue, whereas permanent tissue having many different types of cells are called complex tissue. 6.1.2.1 Simple tissue. A simple tissue is made up of only one type of cells. The various simple tissue in plants are parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma forms the major component within the organ. The cells of the parenchyma are generally isodiametric. They may be spherical, oval, round, polygonal, or elongated in shape. Their walls are thin and made up of cellulose. They may either be closely packed or have small intercellular spaces. The parenchyma performs various functions like photosynthesis, storage, secretion. Collenchyma occurs in layers below the epidermis in dicotyledonous plants. It is found either as homogeneous layer or in patches. It consists of cells which are much thickened at the corners due to deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. Collenchymatous cells may be oval, spherical, or polygonal and often contain chloroplast. These cells assimilate food when they contain chloroplast. Intercellular spaces are absent. They provide mechanical support to the growing parts of plants such as young stem and petiole of leaf. Sclerenchyma consist of long, narrow cells with thick and lignified cell walls having a few or numerous pits. They are usually dead and without protoplast. On the basis of variation in form, structure, origin, and development, sclerenchyma may be either fibers or sclerides. I repeat, on the basis of variation in form, structure, origin, and development, sclerenchyma may be either fibers or sclerides. Fibers are thick-walled, elongated, and pointed cells. Fibers are thick-walled, elongated, and pointed cells generally occurring in groups in various parts of the plants. The sclerides are oval shaped. They are spherical, oval, cylindrical, highly thickened, dead with very narrow cavities called lumen. I repeat, the sclerides are spherical, oval, or cylindrical, highly thickened, dead cells with very narrow cavities. They are commonly found in fruit walls of nuts, pulp of fruits like guava, pear, and sapota, seed coats of legumes, and leaves of tea. Sclerenchyma provides mechanical support to organs. Complex tissues. 6.1.2.2 Complex tissues. The complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cells and these work together as a unit. Xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue in plants. Xylem functions as a conducting tissue for water and minerals from root to stem and leaves. It also provides mechanical support to plant parts. It is composed of four different types of elements, namely tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Gymnosperms lack vessels in their xylem. Tracheids are elongated or tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls and tapering end. These are dead and are without protoplasm. The inner layers of the cell wall have thickenings which vary in form. In flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are the main water transporting elements. Vessel is a long, cylindrical tube-like structure made up of many cells called vessel members. The vessel cells are also devoid of protoplasm. I repeat, vessel is a long cylindrical tube-like structure made up of many cells called vessel members, each with lignified walls and a large central cavity. The vessel cells are also devoid of protoplasm. Vessel members are interconnected through perforations in their common walls. The presence of vessel is a characteristic feature of angiosperms. Xylem fibers have highly thickened walls and obliterate central lumen. These may be either septate or aseptate. Xylem parenchyma cells are living and thin-walled, and their cell walls are made up of cellulose. They store food materials in the form of starch or fat and other substances like tannins. The radial conduction of water takes place by the ray parenchymatous cells. Primary xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. The first formed primary xylem is called protoxylem and the later formed primary xylem is called metaxylem. In stems, the protoxylem lies towards the center and the metaxylem lies towards the periphery of the organ. I repeat, in stems, the protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem lies towards the periphery of the organ. This type of primary xylem is called endarch. In roots, the protoxylem lies towards periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center. Such arrangement of primary xylem is called endarch. I repeat, in roots, the protoxylem lies towards the periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center, and this arrangement is called exarch. Phloem transports food materials, usually from leaves, to other parts of the plant. Phloem in angiosperm is composed of seed tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Gymnosperms have albuminous cells and sieve cells. They lack sieve tube elements and companion cells. Sieve tube elements are also long, tube-like structure arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cells. Their end walls are perforated in a sieve-like manner to form sieve plates. A mature sieve element possesses a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lacks a nucleus. I repeat, a mature sieve element possesses a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lacks a nucleus. The functions of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of companion cells. The companion cells are specialized parenchymatous cells which are closely associated with sieve tube elements. The sieve tube elements and companion cells are connected by pit fills present between their common longitudinal walls. The companion cells help in maintaining the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. Phloem parenchyma is made up of elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells which have dense cytoplasm and a nucleus. The cell wall is composed of cellulose and has pits through which plasmodesmatal connections exist between the cells. The phloem parenchyma stores food material and other substances like resins, latex, and mucilage. Phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocotyledons. Phloem fibers, bast fibers, are made up of sclerenchymatous cells. They are generally absent in primary phloem but are found in secondary phloem. They are much elongated, unbranched, and have pointed needle-like apices. The cell wall of phloem fibers is quite thick. At maturity, these fibers lose their protoplasm and become dead. Phloem fibers of jute, flax, and hemp are used commercially. The first formed primary phloem consists of narrow sieve tubes and is referred to as protoxylem, and the later formed phloem has bigger sieve tubes and is referred to as metaxylem. 6.2 The tissue system. We were discussing types of tissue based on the type of cells present. Let us now consider how tissues vary depending on their location in the plant body. Their structure and function would also be dependent on location. On the basis of their structure and location, there are three types of tissues system. On the basis of the location and structure, there are three types of tissue system. These are epidermal tissue, ground tissue or fundamental tissue system, and the vascular or conducting tissue system. The 6.2.1 Epidermal tissue system. Epidermal tissue system forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body and comprises epidermal cells, stomata, and the epidermal appendages, the trichomes, and the hair. The epidermis is the outermost layer of primary plant body. It is made up of elongated, compactly arranged cells which form a continuous layer. Epidermis is usually single-layered. Epidermal cells are parenchymatous with a small amount of cytoplasm lining the cell wall and a large vacuole. The outside of the epidermis is often covered with a waxy thick layer called cuticle, which prevents the loss of water. Cuticle is absent in roots. Stomata are structures present in epidermis of leaves. Stomata regulate the process of transpiration and gaseous exchange. Each stoma is composed of two bean-shaped cells known as guard cells. In grasses, the guard cells are dumbbell-shaped. The outer wall of guard cell away from the stomatal pore are thin and inner walls towards the stomatal pole are highly thickened. The guard cell poses chloroplast and regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Sometimes a few epidermal cells in the vicinity of the guard cells become specialized in their shape and size and are known as subsidiary cells. The stomatal aperture, guard cell, and the surrounding subsidiary cells are together called stomatal apparatus. This is the diagram. The cells of epidermis bear a number of hairs. The root hairs are unicellular elongation of the epidermal cells and help in absorption of water and minerals from the soil. On the stem, the epidermal hairs are called trichomes. The trichomes in shoot system are usually multicellular. They may be branched or unbranched and soft or stiff. They may even be secretory. The trichomes help in preventing water loss due to transpiration. 6.2.2 The ground tissue system. All tissues except epidermis and vascular bundle constitute the ground tissue. It consists of simple tissues such as parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchymatous cells are usually present in cortex, pericycle, pith, and medullary rays in the primary stems and roots. In leaves, the ground tissue consists of thin-walled chloroplast containing cells and is called mesophyll. 6.2.3 The vascular tissue system. The vascular system consists of complex tissues, the phloem and the xylem. The xylem and phloem constitute the vascular bundles. In dicotyledonous stems, cambium is present between the phloem and xylem. Such vascular bundles, because of presence of cambium, possess the ability to form secondary xylem and phloem tissue and hence are called open vascular bundles. In monocotyledons, the vascular bundles have no cambium present in them. Hence, since they do not form secondary tissues, they are referred to as closed. When xylem and phloem within the vascular bundle are arranged in alternate manner on different radii, the arrangement is called radial, such as in roots. In conjoint type of vascular bundles, The xylem and phloem are situated at same radius of vascular bundles. Such vascular bundles are common in stem and leaves. The conjoined vascular bundles usually have the phloem located only on the outer side of the xylem. 6.3 Anatomy of dicotyledons and monocotyledonous plants. For a better understanding of tissue organization of root, stem and leaves, it is convenient to study the transverse section of the mature zones of these organs. 6.3.1 Dicotyledonous roots. Look at figure 6.6a. This is the figure. It shows the transverse section of sunflower root. The internal tissue organization is as follows. The outermost layer is epidermis. Many of the epidermal cells protrude in the form of unicellular root hairs. The cortex consists of several layers of thin-walled parenchymatous cells with intercellular spaces. The innermost layer of cortex is called endodermis. It comprises a single layer of barrel-shaped cells without any intercellular spaces. The tangential as well as radial walls of the endodermal cells have deposition of water. Impermeable waxy material suberin in the form of Casparian strip. I would repeat, the tangential as well as radial wall of the endodermal cells have a deposition of water, impermeable, waxy material, suberin in the form of Casparian strip. Next to endodermis lies a few layers of thick-walled parenchymatous cells referred to as pericycle. Initiation of lateral roots and vascular cambium during the secondary growth takes place in these cells. The pith is small and inconspicuous. The parenchymatous cell which lie between xylem and phloem are called conjunctive tissue. They are usually 2 to 4 xylems and phloem patches. Later, a cambium ring develops between xylem and phloem. All tissue on the inner side of endodermis such as pericycle, vascular bundle and pith constitute the stele. 6.3.2 Monocotyledonous root. The anatomy of monocot root is similar to that of dicot root in many respects. Figure 6.6b. It has epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, vascular bundle and pith. As compared to dicot root which have fewer xylem bundles, there are usually more than 6 polyarch xylem bundles in the monocot root. Pith is large and well developed. Monocotyledonous root do not undergo any secondary growth. 6.3.3 Dicotyledonous stem. The transverse section of a typical young dicotyledonous stem shows that the epidermis is the outermost protective layer of the stem. Figure 6.7a. This is the figure. Covered with a thin layer of cuticle, it may bear trichomes and a few stomata. The cells are arranged in multiple layers between epidermis and pericycle constitute the cortex. It consists of 3 subzones. The outer hypodermis consists of a few layers of parenchymatous cells just below the epidermis, which provides mechanical strength to the young stem. Cortical layer below the hypodermis consists of round, thin-walled parenchymatous cells with a conspicuous intercellular space. The innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. The cells of the endodermis are rich in starch grains and the layer is also referred to as starch sheath. Pericycle is present on the inner side of the endodermis and above the phloem in the form of semilunar patches of sclerenchyma. In between the vascular bundles, there are a few layers of radially placed parenchymatous cells which constitute the medullary rays. A large number of vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. The ring arrangement of vascular bundle is a characteristic of dicotyledonous stem. Each vascular bundle is conjoint, open, and with end-arch protoxylem. A large number of rounded parenchymatous cells with a large intercellular space which occupy the central portion of the stem constitute the piths. 6.3.4 Monocotyledonous stem. The monocot stem has a sclerenchymatous hypodermis, a large number of scattered vascular bundles, each surrounded by sclerenchymatous bundle sheath and the large conspicuous parenchymatous ground tissue. Vascular bundles are conjoint and closed. Peripheral vascular bundles are generally smaller than centrally located ones. The phloem parenchyma is absent and water-containing cavities are present within the vascular bundles. Please like the session of Needshala. 6.3.5 Dorsiventral dicotyledonous leaf. The vertical section of a dorsiventral leaf through the lamina shows three main parts, namely epidermis, mesophyll, and a vascular system. The epidermis, which covers both the upper surface, adaxial epidermis, and lower surface, abaxial epidermis of the leaf, has a conspicuous cuticle. The abaxial epidermis, which is present on the lower surface, generally bears more stomata than the adaxial epidermis. The latter may even lack stomata. The tissue between upper and lower epidermis is called mesophyll. Mesophyll, which possess chloroplast and carry out photosynthesis, is made up of parenchyma. It has two types of cells, the palisade parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. The adaxially means the upper surface. The adaxially placed palisade parenchyma is made up of elongated cells which are arranged vertically and parallel to each other. The oval or round and loosely arranged spongy parenchyma is situated below the palisade cells and extend to the lower epidermis. There are numerous large spaces and air cavities between these cells. Vascular system includes vascular bundles which can be seen in the veins and the midrib. The size of vascular bundle are dependent on the size of the veins. The veins vary in thickness and in the reticulate venation of dicot leaves. I repeat, the veins vary in thickness in the reticulate venation of the dicot leaves. The vascular bundles are surrounded by a layer of thick wall